everyone, so here is a set I did yesterday and I'm so in love with it. Well, I'm voicing over for a set I did yesterday, but this probably won't be posted for about a month or so. But this is, oh, it's just, I did this, oh my, words can't express. I think this is a really pretty set. It's a really nice kind of nude. She said she didn't want too much going on, but she wanted like a little bit of bling. It's just so pretty, and I actually think this would be perfect as a bridal set of nails. So I have removed her previous set down to a thin clear layer as usual. I've then done all my natural nail work, prepped and primed the nails. All of the nails I'm going to come in with a thin clear base of clear, and that's all in CJP. And then I'm going to come in with this beautiful nude from Glam and Glitz. I'm pretty sure this one is Never Enough Nude or Almost Nude. It's one of those two because I used them both yesterday. I can't quite remember, but it is. I will make sure that it's in the product description below. So just have a little look there to see. Now, again, this is one of the videos that I did while I was still kind of getting used to Glam and Glitz. I felt this nude I did a lot better than a green set I did recently. So I am getting better with the ratio and how to use it and stuff. And this colour is such a lovely pigmented, beautiful set. It's not like, sometimes peaches can be a bit too solid. Does that make sense? So they just look a bit mannequin-y on the nail, but this is just such a beautiful colour. It's got a very, very slight shimmer to it as well. So I'm putting on the base layer, and because it's a wet system, I didn't want to come in with the glitter in case like the glitter merged a bit and some of the pigment kind of coloured the glitter and dulled it a bit. So I've then put on the colour as the base, and then I'm coming back with a small bead of CJP Crystal Glass, dipping it into the Glitter Fairy Rose Gold Superfine from the Caramel collection, putting it by the cuticle area and then blending down just to get this nice simple glitter fade. I'm making sure I use just the tiniest amount of Superfine. This will go a long way, and if you pick up too large a bead you'll end up with full coverage. So especially when doing glitter fades, always start less is always more, because you can always add on, especially if you're doing redesigns like this, because you're not having to worry about a pinch because you're going over previously dried acrylic. And then coming in and capping that entire nail in Crystal Glass. As you can see with my capping, it was a little wetter than usual, just because again it's my tiny little brain, it can't cope with going from wet dry. So this week of videos that my ratio is all a little bit off, but I'm getting there guys. It's a fun journey that you can come on with me. So capping the melt, and she had the same on every single nail. So on every nail it was that nude base with a bit of Superfine from the cuticle area and blending down. The reason I showed these two fingers is because the other two I'd done and I didn't like the camera angle. It wasn't quite right. So that's why I was like, right, move the camera around, and then I did this and I was like, oh, that's much better. And when they're all set and done, I'm going to file them in. So usual filing technique, side wall, free edge. Remember, when you're refiling in coffin, ballerina, whatever you want to call it, I personally call it coffin if you've got really straight sidewalls. You need to make sure that you take, so kind of the line starts from where the free edge is on the client's natural nail, so it doesn't get wider as it grows out. And then usual thing, going around the cuticle area nice and gently, and then the body of the nail, always working the nail as a whole, making sure you keep, the difference for me is I personally see that the coffin has very straight sidewalls, whereas when I do a ballerina it's slightly more rounded, so it looks more like an almond with the tip cut off rather than looking like a tapered square. I will have to do a different video on shapes and stuff. Again, that is my personal opinion on that shape. That's not me saying this is how it is done and how it must always be done. So again, just making sure I've got that really nice crisp line. And this is one of my favourite bits actually of doing a redesign, because sometimes when you're working on the nails they can look, because I don't do much shaping before, because I'm a bit too clumsy and I'll always snap off the clear tips and stuff, I do all the shaping after it's been put back on. like the design has been put on. I really like this bit because this is when the design really takes shape, so it really crisps up and you get an idea of what the finished nail is going to look like. And again, filing it as a whole. Looking at it from all angles until I'm happy with how they're all filed in. So there you go, I gave you a full hand being filed in there because I know you guys sometimes like to see a little more than just 1 or 2 nails. And then I've just gone around with my brushy bit, so that just gets rid of all of the dust from in like the cuticle area. I'm then going to do some crystals. Now this placement was heavily inspired by nails by Annabelle. Her crystal placement is always just gorgeous and out of this world, so I've done some serious stalking and I've been trying to use that as inspiration to try and use a few more different shapes. So I already do my S, kind of like swirl, very similar to her, but I'm going to kick it up a notch, and I've got these beautiful raindrop Swarovski crystals, and I just want to kind of just take it to the next level. So I've got numerous different crystals here. I've got a mixture of the rose gold from the Glitter Fairy crystal wheel. I've also got some of the raindrop shape crystals, and they're from Scatter Crystals, and then as you can see I've got a pink wheel. This will hopefully be coming soon from the Glitter Fairy, but as most of you know, I recommend Scatter Crystals because that's where they have such an amazing range of colours and shapes and sizes and everything. So until the Glitter Fairy starts doing a larger selection and range of crystals, I would always say go to Scatter Crystals because it's got great service, really fast service, great selection. Really love them. So I've just placed 2 of those raindrop crystals on. Now The trick with using different shaped crystals, especially when they're a bit larger and they take up a bit more room, is that you need to make sure that you kind of, as you can see, I kind of buff around the shape of the crystal with other crystals. Yeah, so I just like to make sure that I kind of push different size crystals. Like if there's like a tiny little gap, you just want to nudge other crystals underneath just to make sure you don't get that snagging and catching in your hair. And that is a good trick for when you're dealing with wearing different size crystals or like large amount of crystals on your nails. Sorry, I'm a little out of shot there. I was just getting like really lost in the sparkly crystalness. As you can see, I'm back to using my wax crayon. I just get these for like 99p for a pack of 10 on eBay, and I find them fantastic for picking up crystals. So there's a little gap there, so I'm just going to pop another crystal in there, just to make sure there's nowhere that hair can get underneath to catch and snag at these crystals. And then I just want to make sure that it's got a nice amount of crystals either end, so there's a nice flow to the Swarovskis. Now my lady is one of those that if things don't match perfectly, she needs them to be obviously different. So with this hand, she just wanted a few little crystals on the inside because it was slightly different from how it was laid out on the other hand, which is fine. So I've just popped a few extra crystals there. I'm then going to come in with my top coat, and I'm going to use a detailer brush to apply the gel, just because there's quite a lot going on. I've applied the crystals direct to the filed and buffed nail, because I find they stick a lot better. And then I'm going to come in with my top coat and apply the top coat, and I'm just going to apply kind of around the nail those crystals. I'm not going to go over them because it dulls the sparkle, but you just want to get as close as you can so it kind of seals around. So I'm getting my top coat out and getting my detailer brush, and then just coming round. Right in there. So I'm going to do that with all of those, and then I'm going to top coat the other nails, and then I'm going to cure that in the lamp for 60 seconds. And then once they're all cured and cooled down, I'm just going to apply some cuticle oil and rub that in. So there you go, guys. This is a beautiful, lovely nude neutral set, perfect for an understated Christmas that these were, or for a nice formal occasion or a wedding. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Any questions, comments or requests, just pop it below. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.